Hi everyone, I'm Jackie and I'm here to help you pass your U.S. citizenship interview. The process of becoming a U.S. citizen is time-consuming and costly. So the last thing you want is to submit your application and get denied. In this video, I'll go over the top reasons that I've seen applications get denied so that you can avoid these costly mistakes. Make sure to watch until the end because I will also go over what will not affect your application approval. Are you ready? Let's go. Failing your civics test. First, I still see a lot of applicants asking which version of the test they should take. As of now, everyone has to take the 2008 version of the civics test. There was a 2020 version for a brief time, but they phased it out. I'll add the link in the description. So, there are 100 civics questions you need to study. During the interview, the officer will ask you up to 10 questions, and you have to get 6 of them correct to pass this portion of the interview. These are not multiple choice questions, and you will be asked orally. You must study. And if you need help with the civics test, we have a list of videos on our channel to help you out. So make sure to check them out here. Failing your English reading and writing test. During the interview, the officer will provide you up to 3 English sentences to read and up to 3 English sentences to write. These sentences are based on a set of vocabulary provided by USCIS. You have to write 1 sentence correctly and read 1 sentence out loud correctly to pass this portion of the interview. Both tests will be conducted on a tablet, so you have to read a sentence on the tablet and write a sentence on the tablet using a stylus pen. So try to practice writing with a stylus pen before the interview because it's quite different. And we've made several videos with sample sentences that cover all of the vocabulary you need to know for this portion of the interview. Check it out here. Failing to understand or speak English. Unless you meet the English exemption requirements, which require you to be older than a certain age and be a green card holder for a certain amount of time, you must have the interview in English without an interpreter. In fact, the ability to understand and speak English is one of the requirements to pass the N400 interview. The officer will test your ability by having small talk with you or asking you questions related to the N400 application. Some might even ask you to explain some of the vocabulary on the application. If the officer thinks your English is poor, he or she may deny your application. So make sure to review your application before the interview and understand all of the questions on the application. Practice small talk with friends and family, or you can use these videos to practice. Last but not least, we also offer live mock interviews on our website. During our live mock interview, we will go over the application with you just like the real interview and provide feedback and suggestions to make sure you are fully prepared for this important moment. I'll add a link in the description. Applying too early. When you meet all of the eligibility requirements, you can file 90 calendar days before you complete your permanent resident requirement. For marriage-based, it's 3 years, and for everyone else, it's 5 years, with a few exceptions. There is a USCIS early filing calculator online that you can use. We'll share the link in the description. However, do not submit your application before the 90 days, or your application will be denied. In addition, I've seen some applicants get denied when they apply 90 days exactly before their anniversary. Just wait a few days after you're eligible. So if the calculator tells you that you can apply April 4th, 2022, wait until April 6th or 7th, 2022 to apply. You can always start gathering your documents and start filling out the online form. You just need to make sure not to submit the application too soon. For some tips for applying online, check out this video. Missing your interview. You would be surprised how many applicants miss their interview. Usually, USCIS will send you a notice about a month before your interview. Unfortunately, our postal service is not too reliable from time to time. So make sure you have an online account set up, even if you applied by mail. Check the Documents tab on a regular basis because the same letter will show up there. This is important, especially if you're traveling abroad while you're waiting for your interview. And if you happen to miss your interview, call USCIS as soon as possible to reschedule a new interview. Change of marital status during the process. This one is for applicants who are applying through marriage. In order to qualify for the 3-year marriage-based eligibility, you have to be married and live with your U.S. citizen spouse throughout the process until the oath ceremony. If you get separated or divorced before the oath ceremony, you will no longer be eligible to apply through marriage, and you will need to withdraw your application and apply under the 5-year eligibility at a later point. A lot of you asked if you can travel while your application is pending. You can travel internationally before and even during your N-400 application process. However, you need to be aware of 2 things: physical presence and continuous residence. Not meeting the physical presence requirement. An applicant for naturalization is generally required to have been physically present in the United States for at least half the time for which his or her continuous residence is required. That means the total days for all of your international trips cannot be more than half of the statutory period. This includes any trip over 24 hours to Canada and Mexico. So if you're applying through marriage, you need to be in the U.S. for at least 18 months in the last 3 years. And if you're applying through the 5-year eligibility, you need to be in the U.S. for at least 30 months in the last 5 years. Not meeting the continuous residence requirement. Continuous residence means that the applicant has maintained residence within the United States for a specified period of time. So if you apply through marriage, that's the last 3 years. Otherwise, for most applicants, it's the last 5 years. Extended absences outside of the U.S. may disrupt an applicant's continuous residence. A general rule of thumb is that any trip abroad that is less than 6 months will not disrupt continuous residence. Sometimes an applicant has a legitimate reason to stay out of the U.S. for an extended duration of time, such as taking care of a sick family member. However, the burden of proof falls upon you, the applicant. You have to show the officer that during that time, you still have strong ties to the U.S. If you have any trips abroad for more than 6 months, but less than a year, you should have these documents to show that you did not abandon your residence. This may include tax return transcripts, documents or an affidavit to show that you didn't work in another country, documents to show that your immediate family continued to live in the U.S., documents to show that you had a job in the U.S., pay stubs, rental or mortgage payments, utility payments, or proof of car registration and insurance. And if you have any trip abroad that is longer than a year, I would suggest you to wait until you meet the continuous residence requirement before applying. Not registering for the Selective Service. This only applies to male applicants. If you're a female, you don't need to worry about this. Almost all men ages 18 to 25 who are U.S. citizens or immigrants, legally or illegally, living in the U.S. are required to register for the Selective Service. Immigrants must register within 30 days of arriving to the U.S. Failure to register may get your application denied. I went into a little bit more detail in this video of what you need to do if you didn't register for the Selective Service. Lack of good moral character. The USCIS policy states, an applicant for naturalization must show that he or she has been and continues to be a person of good moral character. In general, the applicant must show good moral character during the 5-year period immediately preceding his or her application for naturalization and up until the time of the oath of allegiance. Conduct prior to the 5-year period may also impact whether the applicant meets the requirement. Some examples of lack of good moral character include being a habitual drunkard, gambling illegally, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or involvement in a crime. If you have been arrested or have any criminal records, it's a good idea to consult an immigration attorney before applying. Failing to pay or file taxes. Filing and paying taxes is one of the indicators that show you have good moral character. So it's important to make sure all of your tax filings are up to date and you don't owe any taxes before your interview. However, if you do owe taxes and don't have the ability to pay it off, make sure to have an IRS payment plan in place and bring the IRS payment plan and proof of payments to show that your account is up to date. I went into a bit more detail in this video about all tax-related questions. Failing to pay child support or alimony. It's okay if you need to pay child support or alimony. However, not paying support or alimony shows that you don't have good moral character and will get your citizenship application denied. So, make sure to bring supporting documents to show that you are making payments regularly and your account is up to date. Failing to submit evidence in a timely manner. Sometimes the officer may ask for additional documents after the interview. This usually happens when you didn't bring enough documents to prove your eligibility. You will receive the N-14 Request for Evidence form in the mail. The Form N-14 will explain exactly what documents you need or information you must submit and where to submit them. The form will also let you know when you need to return the documents by, usually within 30 days. So if you receive an N-14 notice, make sure to send in your documents in a timely manner and use delivery confirmation to make sure that they've received it. Lying on your application and during the interview. Again, this ties into good moral character. Don't lie to the immigration officer, no matter how small the lie is. USCIS can actually revoke your citizenship if they found out you lied in your application, even after you get your citizenship. And if you made some mistakes in the application, mention the mistakes to the officer during the interview and bring supporting documents. All right, as promised, here are the things that will not affect the approval of your application. Your religion or not having one. Speaking with an accent. Traffic tickets, as long as they don't involve alcohol, drugs, injury, or lead to an arrest. Unemployment. Receiving public benefits from the government. Expired green cards, unless as a conditional green card. Expired passports, or not having a passport. Not having a state-issued driver's license or state ID. Okay, that's it. I hope this video helps you avoid some of the common mistakes and helps you to pass your interview. Make sure to check out these videos and I will see you next time. Take care and good luck.